My dear children, now let us learn how to prepare bills receivable account. As I said earlier, in bills receivable account, you can see 5 transactions. One is opening balance of bills receivable, next closing balance of bills receivable, bills receivable received from debtors, that is, after the bill is issued, debtor is accepting and sending to the creditor. This is bills receivable received from debtors. Then on the due date, 2 transactions I already said. One may be cash received for bills receivable, another is cash may not be received for bills receivable. If cash is received, we are saying it is honored, and if the cash is not received, we are saying bills receivable is dishonored. Then let us see how to post these 5 transactions. Opening balance and closing balance, we know that is bills receivable is an asset. Assets always show debit balance. So opening balance of bills receivable is written on the debit side of bills receivable account, and closing balance on the credit side. Definitely, if opening balance on the debit side, closing balance will be on the credit side. So these 2 transactions, I think you are clear. So we have to see this 3 transactions only. First let us see the journal, then you can post it easily. What is the journal is? Bills receivable received from debtors. Here, this is the transaction. Here 2 aspects are involved. One is bills receivable, another is debtors. Bills receivable, you know what account it is? It is a real account. It is an assets. Assets are included in real. We have already studied the golden rules. What are the golden rules? That is, what are the accounts involved is personal account, real account, nominal account. This bills receivable is a real account because bills receivable received from debtors. This bills receivable is an asset. Assets are included in real account. Debtors is a personal account. So debtors, personal account, bills receivable, real account. What is the rule for real? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. And personal account, the rule is debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now bills receivable comes in, so it should be debited. Debtors, personal account, debtor is giving the bill, so he is to be credited. So bills receivable account debit to debtors account. Next transaction, cash received for bills receivable. Here, what are the 2 aspects involved? Cash and bills receivable. One aspect is debit, another is credit. We have to find out which is debit, which is to be debited, and which is to be credited. This cash is a real account. So rule for real is debit what comes in. When we are receiving cash, cash comes in. So cash is to be debited. Bills receivable, again it is a real account. So credit what goes out. When we receive cash, bills receivable is going out. So it is to be credited. Even if you remember one aspect, cash is to be debited, then you can easily say bills receivable is to be credited. And then bills receivable dishonored, that is when cash is not received for bills receivable. For this, what is the journal is? First journal reverse, that is bills receivable received from debtors is there. That is to be reversed. So debtors to bills receivable. That is the journal. Now you have understood the journal. These journals can be posted in bills receivable account. In bills receivable account, we said opening balance on the debit side, closing balance on the credit side. And how to post this is bills receivable account debit to debtors. When you post it, you have to see bills receivable, where it is. When we are preparing bills receivable account, you have to see where is bills receivable, whether it is in debit or credit. First one is debit, this is credit. So bills receivable is in debit. So keep your hand in the debit side. In the debit side, we will not write bills receivable in bills receivable account. We will write the other aspect. So what is the other aspect in this journal? Debtors. So we have to write here to debtors account. This is bills receivable received during the year. And then how to post this journal? Cash account debit to bills receivable. Bills receivable is in credit. So how to write? Keep your hand in the credit side. First see whether it is bills receivable, you have to see. Forget about the other aspect. Bill receivable is in credit. So keep your hand in the credit side. Write the other aspect. What is the other aspect? Cash. So write by cash account. And bills receivable dishonored, we have written debtors to bills receivable. See bills receivable, where it is, this is debit, this is credit. It is in credit. So keep your hand in the credit side. Write the other aspect. So by debtors. So this is cash received for bills receivable, and this is cash is not received, that is dishonored. Now look at the exercise 12. Prepare bills receivable account and compute the bills receivable from the debtors is given. So now if you have understood the journal, you can write very easily. That is bills receivable at the beginning of the year. That means it is opening balance. This is, you are taking double side. Write the heading at the top, bills receivable account. Then particulars, rupees, particulars, rupees. Then bills receivable at the beginning of the year, 1,40,000. So how to write? This is opening balance. Opening balance will appear on the debit side. So you can write to balance B by D. This is 1,40,000. That is written. And then bills receivable at the end of the year. This is closing balance. So you have to write on the credit side by balance C by D. On the credit side you can write 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs is written. Then cash received for bills receivable and bills receivable dishonored. Both will come in the credit side. When cash received, you have to write by cash. By cash, this is 3,90,000. You are writing. And then bills receivable dishonored 30,000. That we are going to write as by debtors 30,000. This is cash received, this is cash not received. Both will come in the credit side. So we have written this. Then next what we have to do? We have to balance. When we balance, we are getting, this is 3,90,000 plus 30, 4,20,000 and plus 2 lakh. So this is 6,20,000 total. Then you are seeing the debit side. Debit side only is 1,40,000 is there. 6,20,000 minus 1,40,000, that will give you 4,80,000. 4,80,000, then write the total 6,20,000. Straight to that we have to write to debtors. This is bills receivable received during the year. So this in this bills receivable to balance, below that bills receivable received, and in the credit side this is honored, this is dishonored. Honored means we are writing by cash, dishonored means we are writing by debtors. Then we are writing like this. Hope you have understood how to prepare bills receivable account.